Greetings to you all. No one expects the Spanish Inquisition. That was a line used in a Monty Python film. UK comedians, as Max Bygrave said, a UK guy who's now deceased. Let me tell you a story. This is quite shocking. Now, I was a JW for 34 years. I gave public talks, raised a family in that cult, who I no longer see. My wife passed away at the age of 56 from cancer. She left me a few years before she passed away on the encouragement of the Jehovah's Witnesses, because I was no longer spiritual. I was working day and night, too worn out to go to meetings. So the JWs, and especially her sister, who was married to the presiding overseer, said, look, just leave him. He's not spiritual anymore. I was worn out, man. Anyway, let's backtrack. In this town where I live, there are 3 congregations of Jehovah's Witnesses, and when my wife was alive, we were both pioneers, and a call went out for one congregation needed help. So I said to my wife, well, let's go as pioneers and help this congregation out. Okay, so we went. Anyway, me being zealous, I supported all the midweek arrangements for knocking on doors. Anyway, there were no elders out because either they were working or they were retired and too lazy to get off their butts to support the midweek arrangements. But this sister was given the maps, the territory maps. She used to walk every day, miles, to support these groups. And I had a car then, so I said, look, I'll pick you up and take you to the groups. Now, she was a wonderful woman. In fact, she got a hunchback from carrying her ministry bag to the groups. Anyway, this is what happened. The wife of the presiding overseer, the elderette, started taking my wife, Pioneer, on her return visits. You know, that lazy stuff you do where you drive around calling on people, having a coffee to count your time. And she complained to my wife about this Pioneer calling on her calls. Well, I got a sniff, something's going on here, right? Anyway, guess what happened? Now this lady, this Pioneer, was doing like 120 hours a month, placing hundreds of magazines. And the elderettes, the elders' wives in the congregation, got jealous. So what they did, they organized the elders, the spiritual policemen, to take her to a judicial committee. Get this. Because she was calling on elders' wives' calls. I said, what? What? You know, I smelt a rat. Jealousy, you know. Anyway, I gave a talk one day. It was a number 4 talk, where I praised a certain woman, without naming her, who was doing this, taking the maps to the territory, and I watched from the platform for the elders' wives' reaction. I didn't name her. I could see the daggers coming out. And after that number 4 talk, I was taken to the back room and counselled. I said, look, I didn't name her. Anyway, I was stopped answering up in the congregation because I was supporting this woman. Things got so bad she had to move congregation, so I gave her a letter to take to her new congregation, because they removed her as a pioneer, by the way. They removed her as a pioneer. I gave her a letter to take to a new congregation. It was entitled Witch Hunt. And within a week, she was reinstated as a pioneer. Well, this is all irrelevant, because really, I guess she's still supporting the Watchtower organization. But this video is about the terrible drama and manipulation and gossip behind the scenes of this so-called Christian religion. Elders' wives control the scene, like Delilah with Samson. They know everything. They know everything. These bitches, these witches, know every single detail of what goes on in the congregation. This is not a Christian organization. It's quite sad when I think that she's still a JW. She was such a zealous, humble woman, and they gunned for her. In fact, guess what? She went to her daughter's wedding, and her daughter wasn't a Jehovah's Witness, and she was taken in the back room and said, "We're going to remove you for going to a church." These are evil men. These elders are pure, absolute Spanish Inquisition. I took them on many times. When I resigned 2.5 years ago, they said, "Alan, if only you hadn't resigned, we would have made you an elder this week." And I thought, flipping good job I didn't, because I wouldn't have stomached the letters from the organization about destroying letters, covering over paedophilia. This organization has got nothing to do with Messiah. It's an Illuminati experiment, as are Mormons, Scientologists, etc. And if you are having a study with Jehovah's Witnesses, I tell you now, break away. Break away quickly. They are control freaks in the maelstrom, the matrix of what's going on. Okay. I've seen some disgusting things. Mind control, manipulation. They use God's word for their own gain. Shalom.